Hello from Southern Ontario. It's Friday, November, I guess it's the 7th or something. Doesn't particularly matter for the point in this video. So my local watering hole, I said to the bartenderess last night, I said, hey, ostrich meat's going on sale, right? Referring to the call in British Columbia. She kind of looked at me quizzically. She's a fan of my story times, where often in the bar, she and perhaps some others, well, there's always more than her, we'll listen to one of my outlandish yarns, and she's amazed by how I can spin a yarn that is obviously complete BS, but make it sound very plausible. So this was her quizzical look regarding the ostriches, my comment on the meat being on sale, or coming on sale. And she said, I'm totally oblivious to that. I have tuned out of politics. A single mom, 2 kids. She hasn't got the time, the emotional energy to follow any politics. So, hence the point of this video. And we see this happening here in Canada, right? There comes a point in the human psyche where an individual has been assaulted by so much propaganda, mis and disinformation that defies logic, but is continually perpetrated upon us. So, as a Canadian, as an individual, one of 3 things happens at this point. The individuals in the lower IQ ranges, they succumb to this propaganda. This is clearly evident, utilized, openly stated, and celebrated by the World Economic Forum's Behavioral Sciences Department and our BIT Nudge Unit, Behavioral Insight team that we have here in Canada and in other countries. Anyways, the individual just constantly inundated. If you watch the CBC morning and night, you know what well, you don't. If you watch the CBC morning and night, perhaps you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I got a little off track there. So anyways, what we have here at this point often becomes cognitive dissonance. Our brains are assaulted by BS, behavioral sciences, and yes, BS, kind of one and the same. That cognitive dissonance sets in because the propaganda defies logic, even for the dimmer folks in the population. 50% of Canada's population is below average, that being 100 IQ points. It's not unique to Canada, it's a global average as well. But anyways, again, I digress. So at this point in time, cognitive dissonance sets in. They become useful idiots, parroting this evil propaganda. We see this with the leftist. Elbows up, anything but conservative content creators on social media. They become, again, useful idiots. Now, this is clearly a low-level form of madness, as normal human logic is assaulted and overwhelmed by the continuous assault of this behavioral science propaganda. Now, other people, often the people who are a little more intelligent than average, and again, I'm working with the WEF's behavioral sciences here. This isn't my own pet theories. Anyways, often the person who's a little more intelligent, at some point they get overwhelmed, aggravated, or just weary, and says, enough, I'm tuning out, I'm done. And we see this on social media with content creators bailing out. And in the real world, again, this barmaid could be an example, and I could list several others I know personally who've just said, I just can't follow Canadian politics anymore, I've given up. Our crooked politicians are never called to task. So anyways, now this too serves the WEF's agenda. When people tune out and become apathetic, I don't think any further explanation is necessary there. Some people I'd estimate a quarter of the population observe this, watch it playing out, you know, with a morbid curiosity. In my case, a kind of hopeless fascination. Anyways, there's nothing new here with any of this utilization of psychology in history of the sociopathic power hungry. In the past, it was the printing press. Today, it's the World Wide Web, playing out before our very eyes in real time. Unfortunately, to my observance, despite humanity's evolution of informational technologies, the result will be the same as it always has throughout history. Where was my history? Marie, you know who I'm referring to, the French Revolution, Marie will not lose her head until the peasantry has neither cake nor bread.